So, Mr. Bilgin, there is no doubt that the Turkish aviation market and Istanbul Airport are thriving with no signs of the popularity slowing down. What factors do you think have really contributed to the rapid growth of the Turkish aviation market in recent years?
The location of Istanbul and Turkey has been giving an advantage with the most common explanation that the center of gravity of air traffic movements are moving towards the east. So, as a general look, from a location point of view, Istanbul has become a perfect place to become a global hub for the transfers between destinations. But of course, this has not been the only issue. In order to make this positioning to an advantageous position with respect to the competition, you have to be really efficient in terms of your operations. You have to take sustainability and passenger experience in the center of your operations. So there has been several factors which we have been trying to work very hard to add to that value proposition. And up until now, we have been experiencing a strong growth since the inception of our project. And this has been fueled by the factors that I've just mentioned. Uh, but of course, there has already been a place to improve. So we are looking into the ways where we can improve the passenger experience, efficiency in our airport with respect to operations in general, and making it more attractive for airlines and passengers. Also, in the long-term look, trying to be prepared for any challenges that might come from sustainability issues as well.
During IGA Istanbul Airport's 2024 press conference, you declared that 2024 is the year of investments for Istanbul Airport. So, what innovations and investments do you have planned in the coming year?
Actually, that's not a surprise that Istanbul Airport is reserving huge amounts of sources to investments. It has been mainly coming from our master plan. You know, one of the advantages and also challenges for Istanbul Airport has been to develop an airport from scratch. And the previous old Atatürk Airport used to handle more than 60 million passengers, and there was no room for additional capacity growth. But at the same time, there was still strong dynamics on the demand side. So the government took an important decision to start a new project from scratch, which can be extendable up to 200 million passenger capacity. That's why our concession agreement has been determined in such a way to extend our capacity as and when needed. So we have a very detailed business plan and supported by a master plan where we know when we have to invest. This 665 million euro budget is mainly driven by our additional runway investments. So almost half of it is the investments which fall under our phase two investment category. But on top of it, we spent again more than 300 million euros to improve our service and also to be ready for our sustainability goals as well. That's why we have started many projects at the same time, which has been within the culture of IGA Istanbul Airport since from the beginning. So that's why in 2024 again it will be a year of investments for us.
In our 2024 connectivity report released at our Congress here in Istanbul, Istanbul, plus 9% since 2019, remains on top for connectivity in Europe, having moved up from fifth position in 2019. So, how does Istanbul Airport maintain its competitive edge in the growing and very competitive Turkish aviation market?
Actually, as I mentioned, we have a very special location. Istanbul is located in the middle of Europe, Asia, and Africa, and with a strong uh, history, culture, and also very high level of culture, which has uh, um, hospitality at the first place. So I think this has been the main driver of our investments and also our approach to our business. So it's not just the geographical positioning, but also it is within our cultures to have a competitive edge on the hospitality sector. So this has been the main driver, I assume. But we have been, as I said, trying to make our airport attractive for new airlines as well. And we are making investments to be in a position to offer them slots at even peak hours still. We have been making investments to use digitalization so that all the stakeholders within the airport ecosystem can operate efficiently. So our turnaround times are very lower compared to our competitors. Our baggage delivery times, baggage loss percentages, and on-time performances, all of these come together and help us in our efforts to attract new airlines. So at the end of the day, we are also very competitive with respect to airport charges because since we have made investments in an efficient way, this reflects itself in the airport charges as well. That's why we have been quite successful in attracting new airlines to our airport. This also has been coupled with the strong growth of Turkish Airlines as well. So we've been able to increase the number of airlines operating in our airport from 61 to 106 just in 5 years. And also this, as I said, has been also supported with the strong fleet growth of Turkish Airlines. So currently, Istanbul Airport is the most connected airport in the world with 316 destinations. So if you come to Istanbul, you can go elsewhere in the world. We have flights to 6 continents. That's why coming to Istanbul is quite advantageous for all airlines. It makes you connected to the rest of the world.
I think there is no doubt that Turkish hospitality runs deep, and we've certainly experienced it here at our wonderful annual Congress and General Assembly. Now, I'd like to ask you on if you can elaborate on the sustainability practices that Istanbul Airport have introduced to reduce your carbon footprint, and really whether there are future plans for an expansion of your current plans, perhaps, or even just more to enhance sustainability at Istanbul Airport.
Actually, when I look at our industry as a whole, I'm quite optimistic about the future because the tendency to travel, the tendency to experience the rest of the world has been increasing. And as you know, our industry has strong links with economic development. So if there is economic development, there will be more tendency to travel, more potential for growth in cargo, and so on and so forth. That's why I believe we do not have issues with the demand side, but on the supply side, we have to be careful because this has to be in line with the requirements of the environment as well. So unless we are able to do our business sustainably in the future, that would be a bottleneck for the growth. So it's not just being more responsible, but it is a must for our industry in order to be able to provide the services that our customers are demanding. And as Istanbul Airport, although we see ourselves competitively well positioned within the industry, we see this as a threat to our industry itself. That's why we all have to be very careful and work in coordination. I think ACI plays a pivotal role here with the certification, carbon accreditation certification program, and also sharing the best practices and also its sector reports. And also it helps us with the communication with the policymakers and also with the public as well. But at the end of the day, it's an important topic. We have committed to be net zero by 2050, and with the results of 2023, we are 14% above our targets. So things we've been going well, but at the same time, you know, the targets are becoming more aggressive with the years to come. So we also have to be prepared in that respect. And one of the major investments we are undergoing is the solar power plant, which will produce 100% of the electricity consumed within the whole Istanbul Airport ecosystem. So this will significantly contribute to our goals within our net zero roadmap. But of course, this is not enough. We are also trying to be prepared for any potential logistical requirements coming from SAF or hydrogen fuel productions to be organized in the future. So we also believe we are very well positioned within that respect. We have a seaport adjacent to our airport, which can handle Cape-sized ships. Therefore, we are able to provide supply, any kind of fuel supply, from any part of the world to our airport. And we are also, as I said, trying to be within all these processes so that we also provide input to the sector as well as being aware of the future requirements.
What would you say are some of the key takeaways from this year's Congress that you think you'll bring back to Istanbul Airport?
I think this year's event has been quite successful and made us quite proud. You know, the attendance has been significantly high, and also not only the numbers but also the level of attendance was really good, and also the discussions we had, the meetings we had, the panels has been quite informative, and also some of them were mind-blowing. So I really think that we are becoming more focused and more specific on the issues of the future. So you know, there has been several discussions going on sustainability, digitalization, customer experience. But I believe we have to become more specific. We have to put more solid targets and make more solid discussions. I think this event has contributed to the process within that respect. So, you know, as I said, the main challenge to our industry is not because of the competition within it, but the potential threats that the industry will face. So I always keep saying that the coordination and cooperation within the sector stakeholders is key here in order to be prepared for the threats of the sector. And also we are very integrated to each other. That's why we have to be more open to each other when dealing with operational issues. And ACI General Congress has contributed to these issues a lot. And I also believe we had the chance to show at least a demo of our hospitality and a sample of Turkey, and Istanbul. So the feedback we have received has been extremely well. So that's why we will be looking forward to hosting yourselves again in the near future as well.
Well, you have been wonderful hosts, and I think I have to extend a congratulations because you also were the winner of the Best Airport Award, over 40 million passengers. Uh, in short, what do you think is the key to your success, and what could you tell airports who want to apply in the future? What is the recipe to becoming such a successful airport?
We have our own way, and it becomes with putting the passenger experience and sustainability in the center of everything. So, and when I'm talking about passenger experience, it's not just the passengers themselves, but also the airlines on top of it. So, since the inception of our project, we've been working very hard to make our customers happy, and also to be also organized in such a way to be prepared for the challenges and demands of the future. So this has been contributing to our success, in my opinion. And of course, we have been working very hard. We have put a great teamwork here in Istanbul. We have a very energetic young team and passionate about aviation. So this has been our chance, I should say. But of course, I can say everybody can have their own way. But our own way is working with heart and, as I said, putting passenger and customer experience and sustainability in the center of everything.